Have you noticed small but quietly unsettling changes in the behavior of an elderly loved one over the past year? Perhaps they've become more silent. Maybe they walk more slowly. Or maybe the light in their eyes has dimmed just a little. Most people consider these changes a normal part of aging. But the truth is, as the final chapter of life approaches, the body begins to send subtle signals. These signs often come as a whisper. You don't hear them until time passes and you look back and realize it was all there. You just didn't know what to listen for, but by then it's too late. Too late to prepare. Too late to create those final beautiful memories. In this video, we'll talk about 6 important signs that may indicate an elderly person is entering the final year of life. Some of these signs may have already caught your eye, but you brushed them off with a quiet, "That's just aging." Others are almost invisible, but all of them are signs that the body is slowly preparing to say goodbye. Recognizing these signs early can give you so much in return. Better care, deeper conversations, time filled with peace and meaning rather than regret. Please stay with us until the end of this video, because this knowledge may be the most important preparation you can offer your loved one, and it might bring you one step closer to having the most emotional but meaningful conversation of your life. Let's begin. 1. Extreme fatigue and exhaustion. It all started with one sentence. "My mother doesn't even look out the window anymore." She used to wake up early in the morning, water her flowers, and chat with the neighbors. A cheerful, lively woman. But now, she just lies silently in bed. No interest in the television. No reaction to messages on her phone. This isn't just tiredness, it may be the beginning of a quiet farewell. Extreme fatigue is one of the strongest indicators that an elderly person may be entering the final year of life. But this isn't the kind of tiredness that a good night's sleep can fix. Even after sleeping the entire day, they still feel drained. Getting out of bed feels impossible. Preparing breakfast seems overwhelming. Walking from one room to another feels like a long, exhausting journey. What we often dismiss as just being lazy may actually be the body entering an energy-saving mode. The heart beats more slowly. Circulation weakens, muscles lose strength, oxygen reaches less of the body. The brain quietly starts saying, "That's enough." That's why they sleep more, talk less, move less. It's not a lack of willpower. It's a biological and emotional process of slowing down. Sadly, many families overlook these signs, or they misinterpret them. They say, "Let's go for a walk, it'll lift your mood," or "Don't give up, stay active." But this fatigue isn't something that can be fixed by motivation. It needs understanding, because this exhaustion is the body's, and sometimes the mind's, way of preparing to say goodbye. This stage can also bring deep, quiet loneliness. The elderly may begin to withdraw. They speak less, avoid visitors. Perhaps they're preparing for farewell but don't know how to express it. Being present with them means more than just helping physically. Sometimes, pulling up a chair and sitting quietly beside them says more than words ever could, because they still want to be seen, to be felt, to know they're not alone. If someone in your family has started sleeping more than usual, if they need frequent breaks while doing simple tasks, if even basic routines feel overwhelming, please don't brush it off as just aging. This may be one of the first signs of the final journey beginning. So let me ask you, has your mother, father, or a loved one recently seemed quieter and more tired than usual? Does it worry you? Share your thoughts in the comments, because you're not alone. Many others are facing the same questions. And maybe your story could guide someone else through theirs. 2. Frequent infections and slow recovery. One day they got a small cut on their hand. In the past it would have healed in a day or two, but this time it didn't. Days passed and the wound still hadn't closed. It had even started to turn red. Then came a cough, followed by a urinary tract infection. And before you know it, another month, another illness. This is the body's quiet cry for help. It's saying, "I no longer have the strength to fight." The human body has an incredible defense system. But as we age, this system weakens. Cells regenerate more slowly. The immune system becomes less effective. That's why infections that once seemed minor can completely throw off the balance of an elderly person. And it's not just about physical symptoms. When an infection begins, an older adult might not show a high fever. Instead, they may become confused or suddenly very weak. This can be misleading to loved ones, because what doesn't look like illness may actually be the first sign of a serious infection. Another key sign is the healing time. A small wound may stay open for weeks. A mild flu might cause lingering exhaustion for far longer than usual. That's because the body has lost its ability to repair quickly. Every recovery demands more time, more energy, and more effort. And after infections, regaining strength becomes harder. What used to take a day now takes weeks. And with each illness, the body weakens just a bit more. It's like watching strength slowly fade away. If your loved one has been getting sick more often lately, if simple illnesses take longer to heal, if small injuries aren't closing as they should, please don't dismiss it as just aging. It could be a sign that the body's defenses are shutting down, and that often signals entry into the final stage of life. At this point, what matters most isn't just helping them recover. It's helping them feel comforted. Of course, treatment is important, but sometimes a warm bowl of soup, clean sheets, or a peaceful room does more than medicine ever could. Have you ever noticed this in someone you love? Repeated infections, slow healing, increasing fragility? If so, please share your story in the comments, because these quiet signs often go unnoticed. Not because they aren't real, but because no one talks about them. 3. Breathing and circulation problems. One day, just getting up from the couch and walking to the kitchen left her out of breath. Yet just a few months ago, she never missed her morning walk. Now climbing stairs feels like scaling a mountain. She pauses mid-sentence to catch her breath. Her hands are often cold. These quiet changes often go unnoticed. But in truth, the body is trying to send a loud message. I now take every breath with more care. As we age, the heart begins to beat more slowly. Arteries narrow. Blood circulation slows. Oxygen no longer reaches the cells as efficiently. Lung capacity decreases and breathing becomes more difficult. This is why simple movements now demand great effort for an elderly person. More importantly, these changes affect not just the body but everyday life. The grandfather who once loved welcoming guests now prefers to sit quietly in the corner. Because even talking, laughing, and telling stories require breath. And now that breath feels precious, because it's harder to come by. Circulatory issues also begin to appear. Hands and feet feel colder than usual. There may be pale or bluish skin. Sometimes the ankles swell and walking becomes heavier. All of these are signs that the heart is struggling to pump blood effectively. This condition isn't just physical, it brings an emotional burden too. The person may feel less useful. They speak less, withdraw more, because their body no longer wants action. It craves rest. If your mother or father is often short of breath, struggling to speak without pausing, showing pale skin, cold extremities, or bluish discoloration, please pay attention. These are often the silent signs that the final phase of life may be approaching. And remember, one of the greatest gifts you can give during this time is a peaceful space to breathe. Keep the air clean, make their bed comfortable. Speak gently. Sometimes simply being there is enough. Now, a question for you. Have you noticed shortness of breath or signs of coldness in a loved one lately? Share in the comments, because your experience could serve as a meaningful warning to someone else. 4. Mental confusion and withdrawal. Sometimes life quietly begins to fade from memory. One day they forget why they walked into the kitchen. The next they confuse their grandchild's name, then fall silent. And over time, conversations dwindle, and their gaze becomes distant. Mental confusion and withdrawal are among the most emotional and heartbreaking signs that an elderly person may be approaching the final stage of life. Because this shift is not just memory loss, it's a slow disconnection from oneself, a gradual detachment from the world. Someone who once loved to talk, who made others laugh with witty remarks, now sits quietly in a corner. They avoid joining conversations, give short answers, or none at all. They may stare at the TV without really watching. Their thoughts are often trapped somewhere in the past. There are many reasons for this: reduced blood flow, lack of oxygen to the brain, hormonal changes, or age-related cognitive decline. All of these contribute to this state. But perhaps the most painful part is watching a loved one slowly slip away before your eyes. One person once shared, "My mother always said, 'Good morning, sweetheart,' every day. One day she looked at me and said nothing. It felt like she didn't recognize me. My heart grew so heavy I felt something inside me break." These mental changes don't just affect memory. They touch emotions as well. The person may become more sensitive, anxious, or even indifferent. They begin avoiding crowds and prefer solitude because the outside world now feels unfamiliar. What can you do? The most meaningful act is not to push them, but to simply be present, accept them as they are. Sit quietly with them, hold their hand, look into their eyes and gently say, "I'm here." Remember, Even when the words fade, love remains. And the more patiently and lovingly you stay near, the less alone they'll feel in this gentle transition. If you've noticed a loved one becoming more withdrawn or confused, share your experience in the comments below. Your story may bring clarity, comfort, or connection to someone else going through the same thing. 5. Significant weight loss. As a person nears their final year of life, one of the most silent yet powerful signals the body gives is sudden, unintentional weight loss. Often this change begins subtly and goes unnoticed. Maybe pants feel looser, a belt tightens an extra notch, a bowl of soup suddenly feels filling enough. But these small shifts may reflect a much larger truth. Weight loss in this stage is more than a physical change. It can indicate the body is no longer processing food as it once did. Muscles begin to weaken, the immune system falters, and the sense of taste dulls. Eating becomes a chore, not a pleasure. For elderly individuals, this decline often leads to reduced mobility, increased fall risk, and slower healing. It's the body's quiet way of saying, I'm preparing to let go. This reminds me of Marianne, 79 years old. She spent her life finding joy in the kitchen, cooking fresh soups, sharing her own recipes, and filling her home with comforting aromas. But over the past year, something changed. She started skipping meals. Her portions shrank. And slowly over the course of 12 months, she lost 8 kilograms. But it wasn't just weight she lost. It was energy, laughter, and even a little bit of self-worth. Marianne is not alone. Many older adults experience the same loss of appetite. It may be due to digestive issues, depression, or an underlying illness. Whatever the cause, persistent and unexplained weight loss is a signal from the body, one that must not be ignored. If you notice this kind of change, don't simply say, they're just getting older. Instead, listen to what the body might be trying to tell you. Offering favorite foods, sitting with them during meals, or gently encouraging small bites. These small gestures can make a big difference in bringing comfort and dignity during this time. Have you noticed significant weight loss in a loved one? Have you seen their appetite fade without explanation? Please share your story in the comments. Your words may help someone else recognize the signs and respond with compassion. 6. Social withdrawal or inner preparation. Some changes don't show up in blood tests or x-rays. They're noticed with the eyes, the heart, and intuition. As the final year of life approaches, some elderly individuals begin to quietly withdraw from social life. Phone calls, conversations, and family gatherings they once looked forward to no longer hold the same appeal. Silence gradually becomes a preference. This can signal both the loosening of social bonds and an inner preparation for farewell. Perhaps you've noticed an elderly loved one who used to spend their days chatting over coffee with neighbors may now prefer solitude. They might answer calls late or not at all. While this could sometimes be attributed to age-related depression or physical exhaustion, it often hints at something deeper. Many seniors, without realizing it, begin retreating inward, entering a sort of mental closure process. Certain phrases during this time carry clues. Nothing excites me like it used to. I feel like my purpose is done. I think my time has come. These aren't just melancholic words. They reflect the person's growing awareness of life's final bend. Sometimes flipping through old photos, recounting childhood memories, or simply sitting silently by the window for hours. These are all part of an inner reckoning. Here, the role of loved ones is invaluable. We must not let them sink into isolation or emotional loneliness, because perhaps what they need isn't lively chatter, but simply to feel understood. Not long conversations, but a genuine smile, a held hand, or someone sitting quietly beside them. If you observe a loved one slowly distancing themselves from the world, understand that they may now draw strength simply from your presence. Their silence can be filled with meaning by sitting with them, meeting their gaze, or sharing memories. What about you? Have you noticed such withdrawal in someone close? Maybe they speak less, but you sense a message in their silence. Share in the comments, because discussing these things can shed light for others. Life sometimes changes quietly before our eyes. The 6 signs we've shared today might be details you've overlooked before. Maybe small signals you dismissed as just part of aging. But now we know. These are quiet messages from a body and mind preparing to say goodbye. The tired eyes of an elder, their disinterest in once-loved foods, cutting conversations short, or choosing to sit silently by the window. These are all whispers asking for our attention. And if heard in time, the remaining days can be made more meaningful. Remember, our loved ones teach us not only through what they've given us in the past, but also through who they are today. Their silence waits for our quiet understanding, perhaps a held hand, a song listened to together at their bedside. Making their final days special and peaceful is in our hands. If this video resonated with you, please leave a comment below. Maybe you'll say, "Yes, I've noticed similar things in my mother." Or perhaps, "I'll pay closer attention now." Every comment can bring awareness and hope to others. By liking and sharing this video, you can help more people recognize these signs in time. And don't forget to subscribe, because on this channel, we'll keep talking about how to better accompany our loved ones. Until the next video, stay with love.